I'll never forget the afternoon I got back to my home to find all my clothing violently thrown all over the floor outside of my apartment. Forgot to start the recorder. That was the beginning of a 12-month ordeal. My wife was throwing out my clothes. Those 12 months thereafter was an agonizing months of legal battle, agonizing letters, and also grief. It took almost a whole year until finally, in February 2021, my divorce was finalized. Now, when you're staring at your luggage in a rented room, not knowing that you have a whole year's crisis ahead of you, my mind was blank, my heart empty. I never knew that my body was like a 24/7 fight or flight disaster. I remember it was 3 a.m. in the rented room, looking at my luggage and wondering what to do. I looked over to my nightstand and saw my book. And if you think about what healthcare is all about, they usually tell you, okay, feed your heart, feed your mind, feed your body. Honestly, at that moment, looking at my book on the nightstand, it sounded like a joke. Read, exercise, that was the furthest thing from my mind. It was already 3 months of legal battle, feeling terrible. The last thing I wanted to do was exercise or read. It was good enough that I could even forget to shower or to eat. You build your life, you have a habit, you ask yourself, is it for health reason? Those 3 months in the rented room painted a very different picture for me. People tell you to exercise, read a book, or to have good sleep. You might think that that's for a healthy, productive life. But in actual fact, those 3 are for your emotional armor. When you exercise, people think you're just burning calories. But in actual fact, you're teaching your mind how not to react. When you read, it's not about reading. It's to help you think clearly. And finally, when you rest, people say you need a good rest. But sleeping is to help you realize to let your body rest so that you will not react. If you don't get enough sleep, basically you're like a time bomb. The slightest trigger and you will react. But when you have enough rest, you can look at the situation and have a clear mind what you want to do. When I was doing all my exercise, it was 3 a.m. in the morning, 3 months into my lawsuit. I was asking myself, do I read or exercise? If I allowed my grief to set in, I'd probably say, sleep in bed, don't bother. But that would allow my health to spiral. But I decided, why don't I just get out of bed and do some calisthenics? It wasn't a very, very good exercise regime, but I did those 10 reps. At the end of it, I realized, exercise isn't about looking good. Exercising doesn't mean you have some checklist to cancel what you need to do. Because exercise actually helps you clear your mind. You practice your discipline so that you'll be able to take the stresses. Exercise helps you build your emotional armor. When you exercise, you're training your heart not to race, but to stay calm. When you're reading, you're helping your mind not to look at the mess, but to think clearly what's your next step. And when you rest and sleep properly, you won't become a walking time bomb. Exercise, reading, and sleep is how you protect your personal self. So I say to you, practice exercising so that your heart stops racing. Practice reading so that you will know how to look at a situation and not look at the mess. Practice good sleeping habits so that you won't be a walking time bomb ready to explode with the slightest trigger. Build your armor so that you will become bulletproof and not somebody who is going to explode. If you think about it, some may think doing all this is just some productive hack. But in actual fact, everyone will face a crisis. It could be a health scare, it could be a loss, it could be even a market crash. And if you think that you wait until the crisis happens, then you build your discipline habits, it might be too late. So I encourage you, build your habits so that you're ready for tomorrow. Thank you.